Hi everyone, welcome to Living La Vita Loca podcast, a retro gaming podcast for some of your retro gaming needs. My name is Fazz.
And I'm Rich.
And we are feeling Olympic-y
Are
this
we?
week. Yeah, I mean, are we? I am.
I mean, I always think of the Olympic breakfast, a little chef. So, I mean, yeah, I guess in that
really
respect,
tickled me.
I'm always Olympic-y because I miss it dearly.
I think I've only ever used a little chef maybe like once in my life.
Used a little chef.
Wait a minute. Is this hashtag Drive February again?
Which A-roads do you like?
Well, do they even,
exist anymore?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure they don't.
Well, I thought they didn't, don't they?
Unless we find out there's like one.
Yeah, there's got to be, hasn't there?
Somewhere.
It's like that rogue wimpy or whatever that kicks about somewhere in the UK. What was in the Olympic breakfast?
Oh, it was just a really big full English.
Okay,
Did
fair
it have
enough.
Chips? Might be one of those ones that had chips. Can't remember.
That might be why Little Chef isn't there anymore. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe health and safety came for them.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting flashbacks to various full English breakfasts now. That's probably unhelpful. What are we talking about? Olympics.
The Olympics.
Yeah. Sports and movement.
Yeah. Yes. We have done a Summer Olympic special before.
Yep.
Where you did decathlete, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
And I did Olympic gold. And International Track and Field on the Game Boy.
Oh, yeah.
It's all coming flooding back now.
Yeah.
You're thinking about breakfast. I'm thinking about the video games that we did, 2 years ago now, pretty much. Yeah, 2024.
Jeez.
And I described at the time that I am very fond of the Olympics. For no reason other than it just feels... I think it's the all-encompassing nature of it being on television from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. pretty much, kind of like wall-to-wall random sports. So for anybody that is, by the time this podcast goes out, the Winter Olympics will have started. They start last Friday, the 6th of February. Timey-wimey bullshit.
Melting my brain.
Yeah. But they are in Northern Italy, and they are jointly hosted by Milan and Cortina. Winter sports person, any at all? Like, isn't any crossover from the skateboarding?
Well, me?
Yeah, well, is it
Not
like
really.
any enjoyment at all, or like
I've maybe watched it in passing, but most of that is probably just vague, warped memories of accidentally catching Ski Sunday.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, I've never really gone out of my way.
Yeah,
I've not sat there and gone like, "Oh, the Winter Olympics are on. I've got to, quick catch." I don't know, name an Olympic sport for snowboarding. There we go.
Well done, you.
Yeah, it's there. It happens. I barely notice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Excellent. Great. No, I mean, at least you're honest. For something, I think we mentioned this last year actually, because I spoke about this time of year kind of getting into Ski Sunday a little bit, because the NFL is just kind of winding down, and there's like that little slot at 5 p.m. on a Sunday where Ski Sunday's on. It's been a little bit sort of truncated this time because it is on, but the X Games have just been on 2 weeks ago in Aspen, and now the Winter Olympics is around the corner. So, there's so much winter sports, World Cups and things that they're so vastly different from what your, I guess, normal sporting routine would be or season would feel. That's why Ski Sunday is quite good, because you just kind of catch the best bits, I'd say, really. But I always, something inside me makes me feel like at one point in my lifetime, I want to be stood at the bottom of a jump, like is in either a big edge or like a ski jump or something. Stood there, freezing my balls off, -20, but with loads and loads of layers on, with just tons of, like, I don't know, Nordic country fans screaming. There was 45. I was watching it last week, and there's like 45,000 people at the bottom of a jump. That is in at the bottom. Yeah. Like, isn't it?
Jeez.
I know, it's insane. There's some real avid fans that is in, and they just look like them the best time. Like, isn't cowbells a lot.
But surely, if you're watching like a ski jump like that, like, are you going to be able to, like, you'd need binoculars or something, right, to be able to spot any kind of like nuance between what different people are doing? Well,
it's not the same for most sport though. That isn't that in so much that a lot of sport is. Sorry, not most, but some sports are. I always think about Tour de France. That is in, so you can stand at the side of the road and all of a sudden a bike flies by. You're like, yeah,
but like you can tell that this person is at the front and that person is at the back.
Yeah.
Like, if I was watching a bunch of different people jumping individually off of something, I would struggle to compare one to the other. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like, there's no like immediate benchmark of like, that person is at the front, that person is at the back.
Yeah.
These people are in the middle.
Yeah.
And in my head, weirdly, like, and it might just be the way they're filmed, like from the snippets I have seen, and bearing in mind this is probably in the early to mid 90s.
Grandstand was on.
Yeah, when I was a boy. Like they always seem to be filmed at least like they were a long way away from any people to give them plenty of room to land and come to a halt and stuff. I don't know if that's still the case or what. But...
I would say not from what I can see nowadays. Maybe maybe where I mean the ones that tend to be away from people are like biathlon because I don't know because they're skiing through the Alpines and then they're shooting things. And then you get skeleton bob and bobsleigh. That is in
skeleton
obviously
bob, like one of the funny bones or something.
Yeah. I love reading the funny bones to my boys.
God, that's a deep cut.
Funny boy. Honestly, those books are wonderful, but they're so I don't know how else to describe it. Higgledy-piggledy, like in the prose, it's just so like all over the place. Like you can certainly tell that it wasn't written in English as a first language situation where like you read one sentence and it's just like, what's happened to the small skeleton now? So yeah, Skeleton Bob. They're obviously down at what's the word? I just had it. It's gone now. The luge, is that what it's called? Maybe
Isn't
I don't
that
know.
A different type of sport?
Yes, I think it is. All I'm thinking of now is being in Vodka Revolution and somebody pouring a vodka shot down an ice sculpture into your mouth, and you doing that when you're drunk feels like a great idea. Except 45 other people have probably done that before you and put their face on the ice.
What's your point?
There isn't one. It's just like I just had a synapse go off, and that was what I remembered about the Winter Olympic. Is that not an Olympic sport? Is that not a discipline?
I'm going to go with no.
I'm really sorry. This is so indulgent of me. I'm just like, remember this time this happened to me in my life. It's a bit, I saw an ice sculpture one time.
Gotta confess, I wasn't there.
No, I don't blame you. It's just weird that just literally flashed up. Anyway. 16 disciplines in the Olympics. There is one new one, which I was really interested in. I'm excited to see ski mountaineering. You climb up a mountain and then ski down. Ski-daddle down.
You're not really selling it to me.
No, I mean, not to do myself, but certainly
or to watch.
Yeah, but someone's got they've got to surely climb up with skis on their back and then, isn't that...
Yeah, but go for a walk and then slide down a hill. Not to belittle
you're
it.
not selling it. You're right.
Not to belittle it, but
God, I like an event where it's a dual part. Like I love a triathlon.
That's the thing. It's basically two other things glued together, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
the biathlon's really fun. And then
would you watch football if they had to walk to the stadium first? All the players.
Oh, well, that's yeah. I think I've done that outside Anfield one time.
You're all right.
So. Just for being, Great Britain centric for us, that is in other people around the world, you pick who you like. But there's quite a few people to look out for. This is my sort of, hopefully people that might be on the podium at some point. Mia Brooks and Charlotte Banks and Katie Omerod, they're all amazing snowboarders. I followed them for a while. I think it's Mia Brooks that's really quite a youngster. And we seem to be knocking off quite a few World Cup golds at the moment on things like big air and snowboarding, certainly on the female side of things as well. So that's really exciting. There's a couple of guys, I think it's Matt Weston and someone Wyatt. They're in the skeleton and they are winning lots of World Cup golds at the moment as well. So they've got a good chance of a medal. So again, skeleton's really fun. Our bobsleigh team is, considering we're an island that doesn't have much snow or ice, we've really kind of cornered a market where we've got a chance, to have a go, and then we've got like curling. We usually do all right in, I mean, I would say a lot of the players hail from Scotland, so well done you guys. And there's a few more. Dave Riding, he's been going for years and stuff like Laurie Taylor and skiing. So there's some exciting people to watch from a Great British point of view. We won 2 golds last time in Beijing. Was it maybe even 2 medals? Certainly 2 medals, which isn't great as a return. And I think they were both in the curling, and they were like the last couple of days. Whereas in Sochi in 2014, where I really got into my Winter Olympics, like watching it for what it was, we won 5 medals, I think. So they're looking to try and get to sort of 5 or 6 medals again this time around.
While you were
Just
telling
talking.
us about
Just
that.
talking.
No, well, one of the reasons why occasionally the internet is incredible. There is a little chef wiki on fandom.com that has a page dedicated to the Olympic breakfast. It didn't come with chips, but it did come with sliced fried potato, and apparently was named as such because it was added to the menu in 1994, the same year the Winter Olympic Games took place in Lillehammer, Norhammer.
Okay.
So, unbelievably,
Yeah.
I've accidentally stumbled into a ridiculous segue.
That is far more related than my vodka revolution ice luge situation.
It's just dumb luck. But here we are.
Just dumb.
Also, whoever came up with the Little Chef fandom wiki, chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Incredible work.
exactly. Yeah, little chef's
Thank you
kiss.
very much. You are doing God's work.
So we're going to bring this back to video games now. After 11 minutes of pure garbage. I said that we had to play some snow sport related
Something
video
involving
games.
snow.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go first because mine's kind of incumbent on yours.
Okay.
As in, like, one of them is. So I've played 2 games. One on a VR headset. So I want to tell you all about that. So go for it.
Right. So yeah, 1080 snowboarding.
I was going to say yours would be well known. 1080 snowboarding.
Yeah. I'm not going to labour it. But I go back a long way with it because it's probably my favourite bribe.
Oh wait, yes,
was 1080.
Yeah, I remember this now.
Yeah, because my when I was gearing up to go to secondary school, my parents were like, "Yeah, there's this really good school in town. We'd like you to do the exam to try and get in." I was like, "No, I don't want to do it. I know where I want to go to school. I want to go where my friends are. Do I have to do it? Well, we'd like you to do it. Yeah, but do I have to do it? If we get you 1080 snowboarding, will you do the exam?" Go on then.
Yeah.
So I did. Didn't get in, but close enough for appeal.
Stop trying to support my future, Dad.
Yeah. But ended up going to the school that I wanted to go to, and got 1080 snowboarding into the bargain. And so, like, I've always had this weird connection with it because it's that, like, it always reminds me of that time where I'm like, no, I backed myself. Like, one of the few times where I'm like, no, I'm right.
Yeah.
I know what I can and can't do. Anyway, so yeah, it was quite nice to go back into it.
When was this later released on the N64? Was it?
Oh God, I can't remember.
Sorry,
Fazz, I didn't look that up.
Sorry,
Everyone
I'll put it on the blurb. No, don't
anyway,
ruin your flow.
No,
I'm just trying.
Right.
I'm trying to align it with when you were going to secondary school and stuff, and therefore, was it a newer game at that time, or was it something that you'd wanted to, or would have liked for a while, kind of thing?
So let's do some maths. I was going to say, I want to say it was 1998, and I would have started secondary school in 99.
Yeah.
So it was relatively recent.
Yeah.
Which would probably be the reason why it was used as bribes, because it was like, oh yeah, like you won't have to rent this one.
Yeah.
We'll buy it. Not near a Christmas or a birthday.
Oh.
So yeah, like it. The first thing when I booted it back up was like, oh my God, what is going on with the soundtrack? And N64's audio output is not exactly PlayStation CD quality a lot of the time, but going back into this and like the sort of squeaky rock kind of intro that's nearly like hair metal but not quite, and then you get into the menu and it's like, work your body, work your body, work your body, or like the shortest loop, and all of the loops are so short for all of the tracks, and you do feel like you're going mad a little bit. But it does mean that you go back to it after however many years, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember this.
I remember this.
And then 5 minutes later, you're like, yep, still remember it. Yep, thank you for that. It does still look good. Obviously, N64 again is that era where, like, if you're trying to disguise a hell of a lot of popping, you're going to use fog. If you're going to use fog, you may as well set it on a mountain. Lo and behold, turns out it's quite good, especially where they do actually like increase or decrease the amount of fog between tracks, or like sometimes on the same track. Actually, you might go through a tunnel and then like the weather breaks a little bit and all that kind of stuff. So they do some clever little visual effects. You've got a bunch of modes like a practice or like a slalom, trick attack, time attack, career mode type thing. In the career thing, you've got like 3 lives and 3 sets of difficulty levels to go through. I am terrible at this game. Like, I am genuinely terrible. It took me ages to remember that if you weren't holding Z, you were gonna lose. Like, you have to be pushing forward and holding Z and like all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you're just going to be pootling along. And I had that moment of like, actually, like I do remember, because I didn't have like I didn't have Mario 64 or anything like that when I first got my N64. It was like Goldeneye and Mario Kart or something like that. And then playing this, and funnily enough, we mentioned it before we started recording, Wave Race. Those were the 2 games where I'm like, oh, I understand what this fangledy stick thing is doing now. Oh, that's kind of fun. And like feeling like you have that connection to the board and the mountain, and having to angle yourself in midair to land properly and account for where the track's going. It feels good, you know, and it still feels good. And like, it was a huge novelty at the time, or at least it was for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it still is kind of impressive how it all hangs together and how responsive it is and all that. But it does mean that when you know, hit a bit where the geometry doesn't quite line up like you think it does, it can be kind of frustrating, because it's the kind of thing that nowadays they would be smoothing a lot of the edges out, literally and figuratively, I guess.
Okay. Is it about? Is there, I guess, a focus on doing tricks, or is it just mostly downhill racing?
So it depends what mode you're in. Like,
okay.
if you're in
there is a choice there.
Yeah, if you're in the trick attack mode, like you're going to be getting points. It's no Tony Hawk or SSX or anything like that, but like, it's there. It feels a bit more grounded than anything like that. It's not. I think it's going for, well, almost like the snowboarding equivalent of the Simcade racing that we were talking about with like gravel and stuff like that. It's almost like that.
Have you ever played Cool Borders? I've never played it.
No, I haven't actually.
I feel like that was like the rival PlayStation version of
quite
this.
Possibly. Yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine what it looks like, because I've never played this, and it's almost like I played a lot of SSX, and we've talked about SSX before on the podcast. But I remember the first SSX game being very grounded, and it wasn't until Tricky there was lots of tricks, and I was wondering if this was maybe a better precursor than SSX, because I've never played anything around that era.
This one has a sponsorship deal with Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh.
So everybody's wearing Tommy stuff, and like, so it looks plausible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it looks realistic because it's 64, but like, yeah, it's trying to be realistic and trying to be plausible. And I think for the most part it succeeds on all that kind of stuff. And it's grounded is the word for it. If you're in the career stuff, it's much more focused on who gets to the bottom of the hill first.
Okay.
I think possibly you might get a bit of a bump in speed if you sort of land properly. It's not like you get a speed boost because you've hit a button as you land, like in, I don't know, Mario Kart or something like that, whatever. But I think like there is a benefit to making sure the board has made proper contact,
not goofy landing.
Not putting your nose into the ground too much or anything like that. Because you can wobble, you can fall off. There's a damage system in place which feels kind of antiquated. Like, you can lose a life, like literally by hitting yourself too much on the way down, which is fine until you get to one of those bits where, like, there's a comically small incline from compact snow to powdered snow. You hit it wrong, you trip over and die.
Wow.
And then have to restart and all that kind of stuff. So like, and that did happen to me one time. So there are a couple of bits like that feel more like design choices from the time.
I was just about to say that like, it's so 90s.
Definitely of its time, with how a lot of it's put together. You've got different character stats and they can have different boards and stuff like that. So like, you can get it feeling like there are some pretty big differences, but a lot of the time it feels more like tinkering around the edges and stuff like that. But, you know, it tries to at least make you think about what you're doing and give you that little bit of depth. And that is basically all there is to it. There's like a practice mode where, you know, it'll give you the button inputs for the various tricks and stuff like that, which was useful because I don't have the manual for this and I'd totally forgotten how to do any of it. So I took great delight in, because the announcer will bellow the name of the trick. So I took great delight in waiting for my wife to be in the room and then continuously making him yell "Stiffy," which, for a man rapidly approaching 40 is probably not something I should be doing. But I had fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, I bet you did in 1999 though. As
well, it's true. The more things change. But yeah, like it raises a smile, all that kind of stuff. Like it's stupid,
so much.
It is so stupid, but like there is something about this game that I always find charming. Like it is frustrating, but there is that novelty value to it. The soundtrack is probably objectively shit, but like again, I've got a soft spot for it. There is something about like N64 tunes, like. WWF No Mercy as well is the other prime suspect for like, my God, the number of times I've heard that menu loop. And yeah, it is fun. Is it like high end of our scoring? I don't know. I think
we're making these a free play and scoring each other on our reviews. We haven't done one in a while.
We can do if you want. I don't mind.
Let's leave it.
I've got a score in mind.
Let's give our own scores, and then we can and then we'll start free play at some point.
Out of curiosity, what would you have scored it?
I think a 6 possibly was maybe.
Yeah, that would kind of track. I think I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm under no illusion that a fair chunk of that is
less than what
nostalgia, a nostalgia point. I think the big caveat with it is like, I think again you mentioned it before we started recording. I think Wave Race, generally speaking, has held up better as a full game.
Yeah.
This is still good. It's still very, very good. But like, from what little I played of like 1080 Avalanche and stuff like that, there's a little bit more meat on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the fact that there's avalanches in it. Like it just feels like this could have done with a little bit extra.
Yeah.
I don't know, RPG mechanics or something like that. An experience system. You could build your own border and build up their skills over time. Something like that. I think would have just tipped it a little bit extra spice, a bit of special secret sauce kind of thing. As it is, like, even if you call it a tech demo, like it's crazy impressive what it manages to do. But there's, going back to it, there's just one too many little frustrations and little bits where you like, well, I thought I understood what this track was doing.
Yeah.
And there's a tiny invisible branch tripping me up and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That's fine. I mean, like I say, from a snowboarding game, I'm not saying it's hard to get wrong or anything, but I don't remember there being like loads of, or any that I've played that have been terrible. Like, as in, so it sounds like it does a job. But...
yeah, it definitely does, and it's, in my mind, it's one of the better ones. But I think nowadays, if you laid out a load in front of me, I'm probably going to go for SSX Tricky first, because it's like, it's dumb, goofy, arcadey fun. Whereas this just feels a little bit more like it's trying to take itself a bit too seriously. If you could unlock a
Thrasher Skate and Destroy sort of like
if you could unlock a character with a stupid costume, different story. But
why is there not a clown suit?
I'm not aware of anything like that.
Just snowboarding into a little chef at the bottom. Just like
I would take that. Yeah. Free Olympic breakfast with every purchase.
Stiffy.
Yeah, well away. But I mean, because the other snowboard game that comes to mind from around this sort of time is Snowboard Kids, which I think I played once. I think I rented it once.
Heard of it, to be honest.
Which, I wonder if that's worth tracking down at some point to see how it compares.
That name's on the nose, isn't it?
Well, yeah, actually, yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Do you know who developed 1080 Snowboarding? A name of a human being.
It was like a did do. Are you about to tell me? Or
I am about to tell you to save you, but
I'll go back to seeing if I can pick up Snowboard Kids then.
A chap called Charles Goddard, who developed this and a few other big hitting Nintendo games in the 90s. He went on to found a development team called Chuhai Labs in Kyoto.
All right.
In 2019. And in 2021, on the Meta Quest, they released a snowboarding game called Carve Snowboarding. So the fact that it's come 1080 from the person who made 1080 snowboarding, and then he has then become part of this team. He founded this team, and they've released a snowboarding game for a VR headset. Is brilliant. So I played a little bit of this. This isn't my main game. I guess I'll go on to that in a little bit. But I just wanted to, because I saw that you were playing 1080 snowboarding, and it just so happened to be that when I picked this up for £4 in the sale back in December, I think it was, it's normally £14, and MetaQuest sales don't come around very often. So I would just be wary of that if you do have a VR headset. I don't know if it's available on PSVR. I don't think it is. I think it was a MetaQuest thing. But if you do have one, then wait till the sale, because it was £4 and it was worth the £4 definitely. So this version released in 2021, and I just wanted to give you a bit of it. It's not going to be a full review, but just almost a bit of a feel of what a snowboarding game feels like on a VR headset. Because I don't like doing a lot of VR reviews on this, because not many people have the headset and things. And I don't want to sort of going down an avenue where I've said how much I enjoy the MetaQuest previously, and when we've had our friend Aaron on before, we talked about the 2, and I've talked about having the 3 the 3S certainly back in my life, and it's great. They're so superfluous though. That is into your gaming experience. I totally get why people won't necessarily have them. I get mine out once a month, maybe. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably more often than I see some people sort of say. People seem to buy them and go, "Oh, I never use it," and I totally get that. But I really make an effort to try and a new experience every single month, just sort of like, but I very rarely. I mean, the last thing I played on was the X8 after after you gave a review and said the VR version probably would be good, and it is.
Nice.
It's awesome. I spent about an hour with it, and it just sort of, I don't think I got to the X8 because I was just gone on to something else, but I was just like, I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
The lingering paranoia.
I will go back to it at some point. So it uses hand-based controls to maneuver your board. So
I was wondering if it'd be like nauseating or weird.
So let's answer those questions then. Nauseating, not as much as I expected it to be, especially for something that's moving at such speed.
Yeah.
That is in. So, and the thing that it just, so you hold your MetaQuest controllers in your hands and you basically lift them up like you would be doing a jump. Right. If it helps you to do a jump, you can do a jump if you want to. I didn't find that I had to do that. It was almost just lifting my hands up in a fashion so that it was quick enough to feel like you were, simulating a jump. And it's really responsive. It's really cool how well the board works with you. And also the thing that you do is almost twist your upper body, and then it detects the movement of your controls in your hands, so it can tell if you're not. There is a spin button, like you hold the button just like you would do a video game with a controller that spins the board, but certainly to correct you and to carve down the mountain, which is, I guess, probably the main concept of it, to slow down, to get around corners and obstacles. That's how you do it. And again, how responsive it is, it's really impressive. And you can tell certainly that the person who developed this has developed a snowboarding game previously, even if it was, like 25 years earlier. There's, like I say, you can do spins. They're really intuitive. The grab is another button, which is your thumb button. That's more difficult to control. It felt like that wasn't doing what I wanted it to correctly. I don't think it was necessarily poorly made. I just don't think I got it in time. Like over the 2 hours I sort of played it. In that 2 hours, I kind of felt a little bit nauseous towards the end of it, but no more so probably than I would do playing a VR headset for 2 hours, if that makes sense. So that just kind of comes and goes to me. I went and played another game after this, which I'll talk about actually on a future podcast probably. But that kind of like sort of settled me back down into, I was still doing movement, but it wasn't anywhere near as much as this. So for a VR game, it seems really accomplished. So you come across some of these, because I've said this previously on the podcast about VR and going into the shop there. These it's kind of unregulated. It could be anybody making anything and putting it on there, and you could be paying money. Like I paid for that rookie box in that time on the Switch, and it was just awful. This is made by a real gaming company with real sort of understanding of how a video game should look and feel on a VR headset. Really good, and graphically, it looks. when you come to, I guess if you've got the 3 rather than 3S, it'll probably it will be even better. 3S is powerful enough for it to still look good and feel good and be really clear and crisp. And I think a lot of people probably envisage VR being maybe 5 years ago when you kind of probably had like PlayStation 1 polygons and things, and it's far superior to that. And it isn't necessarily realistic, but it does look good. There's a couple of things there as well that just kind of you get 2 different modes. You get the time trial mode, which is just as fast as you can down the mountain, and you have to earn medals. And then there is a trick attack situation, so similar to 1080 snowboarding, probably just lifted straight from it. And you get 6 different slopes to go down. The difficulty spike for you have to get more medals to progress, but only a minimal number of medals.
Right.
And you've got so I'm trying to remember what the first slope was like, but certainly at the start of the game it was almost like you could get a bronze medal if you passed it, got to the bottom of the mountain in like 3 minutes 50 or something, but you get a gold medal if you got it in like 2 minutes. I have no idea how you can possibly get down there in 2 minutes. It's insane. Like, there are different attributes to the snowboards. So, for example, some are good on powder, some are faster on powder, some do better tricks on powder, some are better on sort of, I guess, I don't know what you call it. Like, is it flat snow? What is it? Compact snow. So there is some way you can make a choice around that. But I think that you just need to do it again and again and again and again until you kind of find your route. Because there are multiple different... It's not, don't get me wrong, it's not quite like SSX where you can go off-piste and there's loads of different areas you can go to. There are just a couple of little variances on routes where you can kind of find shortcuts and things.
Yeah.
And when you do that, the cool thing about the game is that it's not just about getting down the mountain. It's just kind of like a barren sort of place. There are places you can grind. And that's really intuitive. So you just do your jump onto the actual rail and then you're grinding. It's brilliant. And then there are also scattered around, there's mixtapes for a soundtrack. The soundtrack is obviously unlicensed. That is in for a game of, this, I guess you'd say, for a VR and how much they put into it. But really good. That is in just nice background music of what you would expect out of, because you collect different mixtapes. There can be chill out mixes, there can be rock and roll mixes, like electric dance mixes and things, different stuff for whatever you want to use for however you want to get down the mountain, either quickest or with tricks. And you can also pick up different clothes as well. So again, just to help kit you out and stuff. So, and obviously in VR it looks cool because you can actually see yourself. So you can see your arms and legs. So there is the only point to that really is obviously it's just something to go after on the mountain that isn't just getting to the bottom of the mountain as quickly as possible. And then in the cabin, in between the levels, I just wanted to point this out, was just nice little details. You've got a dog that you can pet. That is in, and then you can. You've just got a couple of things you can interact with. There's a radio you can turn on, and that's kind of got like a radio station, like a bit like Burnout Paradise, that welcome to Snow Mountain and stuff, and here's the next song, and this is what it is, and and you can hang your boards up on the wall and then pick them down to whichever board you want to use next. It's really well made. For some reason, you can pick up like burning logs from the fire. I don't know why you want to do that, but that isn't that's a thing you can do.
Option.
I think that just the difficulty curve of getting to higher medals seems to be... I just can't see a route to it at all. Sorry, you're gonna...
No, it's like just the cabin bit, because that's the main menu for 1080.
Oh, right, okay.
So when you're selecting your set of courses or selecting your boards or selecting your characters, that's all in a cabin. Yeah. So like stands to reason that they would go and do that.
Yeah.
And also I do have a quick correction to... issue for 1080
when you are correction. Done. Oh, right, okay.
I mean, I can wade in. Well, it's only a quick one.
Yeah, go for it. Go. Issue it.
There are unlockable borders, but there's just not many of them.
Okay.
So that you can get like a panda border and ice border and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a penguin board as well, which I had forgotten about.
Okay.
But I've just after I mentioned like, it'd be good if they put some unlockable crazy costumes in there.
I just forgot about it.
A little voice in the back of my head was like, yeah, but you did unlock something like that back in the day.
Yeah.
It was the penguin board and stuff like that. They are in there, but it would be good to expand on that, or it's not like you can really change costumes much
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I've not run into anything like that in this either. That is in in terms of like I don't know if they'd go that far in VR because you obviously can't see your own heads and things like that. But
there's also no grinding in 1080. I forgot to mention. You mentioning grinding there.
Yeah.
Like say if there's a tree or something like that in some arcade games you'd be able to grind up or whatever. On this, they just make the tree trunk wide enough that you can just ride up it and stuff like that. But there are a couple of shortcuts, like you were just saying about. Like it sounds like a lot of the design ideas in 1080 have ended up getting translated quite closely.
I mean, considering it's 25 years later, 22 I think is. It sounds like a very cool successor.
Yeah, it
cool
does.
Border. That they've just taken the idea and supplanted it into the VR headset, and they've just done a really good job of because they could have done that and said, when I first saw it, it was like, from the makers of 1080 Snowboard, and I was like, that's handy. That is it. And then I saw it was like, it was £4 on sale. I was like, that's handy. And then I thought, I'm definitely going to get that now. And I didn't necessarily expect it to be as good as it is. And sometimes I think with the VR games, you can be really pleasantly surprised or really disappointed very quickly. And this was certainly the former. There's no... For the amount of moving you're doing with your upper body and hands and things, there was very rarely a moment where I crashed through the boundary of the VR as well. That is in so, and like I say, the nausea for considering you're moving fast quite often, that really never came to play for me. And I can be somebody that would be susceptible to a little bit of the nausea when it's like comes around to moving around in VR. Certainly when it's not just hopping around and actual moving. That's why I'm still a bit scared of playing the Arkham Knight, the Arkham Asylum one. That's like a bit worried about how quick Batman's going. Slow down, Batman. So yeah, I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
And that's nice, and that's not just an 8 out of 10. Or it's a great VR game. That is a legitimately very good video game that I played that really benefits from the conversion into that media. So to talk about the game that I spent more time with, that was a snow related game, is Lonely Mountains Snow Riders.
Yep.
So the sequel to Lonely Mountains Downhill, which is a cycling game. Have you ever played that?
No, I haven't actually. No.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily like the most well-known game, but certainly it was something that it's on. I believe I think it's on PS Plus at the moment, and it was on Game Pass when I played it. I really enjoyed it. It was 2019. It came out. I think it came around to Game Pass 2021. Really fun, like relaxing, but also tough game where you are careening down a mountain on a mountain bike and trying to get down as fast as possible. And there's some real skill and valor to getting down there. And it felt really well made. So the people who make these games are called Megagon, from Germany. And so the most recent one, the Snow Riders, a sequel, came out last January. This time last year, I played Grand Mountain Adventure, Winter Wonderland, which came from a company that were predominantly a mobile game producer, and then went into putting it on the Switch after really successful testing. The exact same route with this one. So it's another snow-based, certainly, after they've done the downhill one, but they started off in mobile games, and then after testing with downhill with the cycling, it got really, rave reviews, and everyone's like, brilliant, put it on a console, and then it became really good on a console as well. So this one is downhill freestyle skiing. Really easy objectives, pretty much. Like, again, the same as the 1080 snowboarding. You can either do, well, basically, you just get down the mountain as quickly as possible, really. The thing about it, and you can do tricks. The thing about this is there isn't a trick mode that I could, you can unlock. I can't remember what it is. Like right, much further on in the progression, there is a type of mode that you can unlock that I looked into it. And I couldn't quite work out what it was, but I don't think it was a full trick attack mode, and I never got there because. A little bit of a reveal that I didn't actually enjoy this as much as I wanted to. But the tricks in this are completely like additional almost. Like they don't add anything to it. You don't gain anything from doing tricks.
Do it for the hell of it.
Yeah, and when I think about Grand Mountain Adventure, which was these little sort of winter wonderlands, like almost like you're looking at a snow globe while you're doing these little sort of different types of races and stunts down mountains. That had that completely built in. This doesn't, so it doesn't make any sense really that this game follows it and also follows downhill with the cycling with such fanfare. And I saw really good reviews for this, but I was really quite disappointed that it just didn't build on that at all. It just was get down the mountain as quickly as possible. The challenge of downhill remains, and that's really good. It's a really fun experience where you reset quickly, you learn from your mistakes really quickly. You know, it's all about finding the right route down the mountain, and there are lots of different various routes. There's a lot of variety to this game, and it is quite exciting. It's got a really fair checkpoint system. There's like 3 kind of challenges that you've got to do. So, like I say, get down as quickly as possible. There's beat the number of bales, so basically don't fall off as much, Right. And then there's a combination, like a weird challenge of both, where it's almost like get down the mountain this time and don't bail out this many times.
My brain, when you said beat the number of bales, my brain was like, "You're racing hay bales?"
Yeah, well, you may as well be. I think that this doesn't have all of the, much like what I was saying with the tricks that I'd want, that all the trimmings that I would like, basically. So it does, the progression system feels a bit thin. Like, so you gain XP by completing these challenges and getting down the mountain as quickly as possible. It's really important that you earn the next snowboard along. So, for example, how many trails is there again? There's 4 mountains with 4 trails. And then there is a black route for each of those as well. So there's 24 challenges to complete. And I got through about 20 before it kind of felt a bit, not even necessarily difficult, but a bit grindy. And I think it was almost like you were being locked out by the equipment that you had. As in, you had to have a certain type of board at certain times to do it. And I found the first little bit a bit grindy because actually I couldn't complete all of the harder routes on the first mountain until I had the next board along. Once I had that, it was a massive breeze, and it was like, you knocked like 25 seconds off the time and things, and it just
25.
Yeah, honestly, it was a vast difference.
Yeah, wow.
And when you just kind of don't really understand how a game's progressing, and then you kind of go, and then you always ask that question, don't you? You go, is it me? And then they go, no, I can't do this without that next board.
Yeah, well, especially if you're suddenly knocking 25 seconds
off.
Yeah,
honestly, it was huge. The way the game is constructed is really good, except for there's 2 different methods of steering, and you can almost see where they've come from this. And I said this about Grand Mountain Adventure as well. They come from this mobile phone design background. I didn't expect it here, though, in the sequel to a game that's been designed on a console, but it still feels like it's kind of got those roots where it's struggling with what controls you should be using. And I found myself having to swap a couple of times during one playthrough to find the one that worked for me, like almost the next hour.
Yeah, in that moment.
Yeah, and
that's interesting.
Yeah, and again, that just kind of spoke to me almost of not enough confidence in which one you should be using. And again, this might just be a me thing, but this podcast is an us thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just someone might be having this and going, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I found my controls very easily and stuff like that. But certainly, I just wanted to make people aware that this is a problem that I ran into.
It almost sounds like they're trying to cater for different tastes.
Yeah,
or something.
Maybe. I just didn't find my taste necessarily. Yeah. And then it also happens with the camera angles as well. So there's 2 different camera angles. There's an over-shoulder view that I found that actually got added as a patch to this. So it didn't exist to start off with, which I found the only way I could kind of do it. When you play the isometric but kind of front, it almost rotates around the mountain as you're moving down the mountain.
Okay, yeah.
Which is cool and a great concept. But sometimes it'd be like you would find that the camera would be hiding behind a part of the mountain and you can't see what you're doing, and you're going off this really difficult drop that you need to, or this difficult corner. And you're like, are they building this difficulty into the game by making it that you can't see what's happening right now? or is it just that they've not quite worked out the camera angle in the right fashion?
That almost sounds like the kind of angle they would use if they were playing it back as a replay
Yeah,
or something like
it
that.
absolutely is. Yeah, thank you for pointing that. Yeah, that's what it is. It's almost like a replay angle.
Yeah.
And you, there was a few times where in that angle, I felt like just a basic thing. Like I'm pressing left, but I'm drifting forward. I don't know why, and it felt like the input wasn't matching what the camera angle was for the character and stuff. And because it was rotating round, it almost felt like the input needed to change.
Yeah.
And it became this 360 sort of like balance around your analog stick to try and make it work.
Yeah.
And then another thing that really this was disappointing. I'm hoping they fix this, but I played this on Game Pass last month. It's now not on Game Pass anymore, but you can still pick it up quite sort of in the sale. I think it is. So I played in this over shoulder view that they patched in later on for most of the game, and then I got to a level where it kept just crashing. I couldn't play the game anymore because it wouldn't let me have this view. So I would start off in the replay forward view, struggle to be able to rotate and manage it, and then I'd go, right, well, I'm going to put it in the over shoulder view, and it just crash and come out.
That's
And
a shame.
I'm a bit like, like as in nothing else that I've played recently necessarily has crashed on Game Pass. And it wasn't like, and I downloaded it, I streamed it, and I thought, maybe it's a stream. And then I thought, well, actually, no, I've got 1 gigabyte of internet. Like, it shouldn't be doing this, and nothing else was doing it. And then I was like, right, I will download it then. And I was playing on my Logitech, and then I was like, no, I will now go and play it on the actual Xbox. Download it. It was still doing it, and I was like, oh shit, like I really wanted to like this game, but there's too many things standing in my way now for me to really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, it looks good. It really does, and you kind of like the style they've gone for is the same as with Downhill. The cycling one, where you get like a boxy character that has no features on them, that just is this polygonic character, but they've really put a lot of detail in the background. Like, there's no soundtrack. It's really subtle sound effects that just just you in the mountain. A very zen experience, really lovely if that's what you're into. And I certainly was when I was feeling like when it wasn't pissing me off with camera angles and shit. The actual game itself, when it was in and working and doing what I wanted it to, I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
But it was too inconsistent for that to be the case all the time.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it kind of has the backgrounds are beautiful. The environments feel really nice and beautiful. Like the snow sparkles, and you crash through the powder, and it leaves the trail of where you've been previously and failed last time, so you can almost follow.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, at least I know that I need to come in at this angle this time. Or and there's quite a lot to sort of see and do. There's like lots of little nooks and crannies. You can imagine spending a lot of time with this game and investigating there's like resting spots, which is you literally just stop and you get off your board and your little character just sat there with a mug of cocoa, like beside this beautiful little pond, and it's one of those like sort of you appreciate life situations and stuff and take it all in. It didn't have the same sparkle for me as Downhill with the cycling, and I don't know how that they've kind of lost that in the sort of 5 years between then, to say that it just didn't feel like it was as well made, or they'd put as much love and craft into this. Or maybe that's probably harsh. Not necessarily love, but certainly there was so many little things that I was like, I don't want to call them bugs either. I mean, there was the one big bug, but stuff that I'm just kind of like, yeah, have you not sorted this out yet? Or is it, I didn't remember it being like this in Downhill. And I went back to playing Downhill for a half an hour before this just to kind of get a feel for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, I prefer the cycling. Like, as in the snowboarding just didn't seem to be doing it for me with all the angles and things.
I wonder if, it was the sort of thing that a bunch of people in the team that were involved in the first game used that on the CV and then moved on to other things or something.
Yeah, maybe.
They're a slightly, like, it's the same company but different people kind of thing.
I think that I think that's a really good point, because it did feel like a bit of a different game, certainly. I mean, the concepts are the same, but just felt less, and this is probably part of the environment as well, certainly less distinctive than Downhill, where you can kind of probably put a bit more personality into the mountain with different seasons and things, whereas with this, you're in snow. Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, they try and put different things into it, but actually the things they put into it made it harder and less fun. Like, there's a lot of like going across ice. I mean, at one point, it was almost like a skill check to be able to say you have to enter this icy pond at a certain angle to clip this small part of snow to kind of then change your trajectory to then go back across this icy pond over here. which in theory I kind of get them what they're trying to do, but it was so difficult to execute with the camera angles and everything. It never sat right for me to sort of like I say, it just felt like almost they'd given it to a rookie in the team and sort of said, "Oh, try and make this part fun or different."
Yeah, it almost sounds like the bits where you had fun were fun despite the game rather than because of the game.
Yeah, that's probably true. And I know that, like your meme of one day you'll probably review No Mercy, my meme of I'll mention Ollie World as much as I possibly can. To think that, you know, like they have a grab and trick system in this, but it doesn't seem to earn you anything. And you don't get any progression or XP points. I would understand if that, you know, the XP that you needed to get these boards later that make, you know, progression actually viable, you could earn that by doing tricks. That is it as you go down the mountain, but no. Nothing. You know, the XP is all purely get down the mountain as quickly as possible and don't fall off. Which, you know, I really, if you're going to put it in, then make it so it actually adds
Give it
to
a
the
reason.
game. Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's not just there, you know, like you say, for no reason. So yeah, this gets a 5 from me. You know, which is exactly what Grand Mountain Adventure got. So, but they're kind of getting, I'd say it's, I don't know, just less fun than Grand Mountain Adventure was, but probably, I mean, for all I've just said about certain things that don't work, or, you know, it's probably still better put together. It's like, it definitely is a console game, just not a wonderful one. The reason I'm kind of going for a 5 is because I don't want to kill it and say it's a game that I wouldn't ever play again. I'd like to see a patch that makes sure that you can definitely play all the over shoulder all the time. I'd like to hear some people's opinions on this. Maybe that is sort of and get a bit of feedback about what they've seen and felt of it, because I'm really on the cusp with it. Like, is in
maybe because I don't know, like the other game might have taken a while to all come together and all that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, maybe a couple of patches would do it a power good.
But do you know what? No, I'm coming out of it. I'm gonna go for a 4. I have to come for sorry. I'm gonna have to. I've kind of rejig. Like, is in the air. Just it left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, actually. So
Fair enough.
I don't want to recommend it, because what am I from my experience? But I'm guessing
more time in the oven.
Yeah, I think so. I am keen to hear what other people think, because maybe they can say to me, "I'll play it this way," or use this angle on this sort of, you know, this track or whatever. So yeah, you know, I definitely enjoyed my time with Carve Snowboarding or the VR headset much more. Like, and sometimes it's just kind of like, you know, you sit down after a video game and just go, well, that felt like a bit of a grind, and that felt like a good grind where I was grinding, you know. That was a good VR, you know, like a good video game grind. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I hope the Winter Olympics, you know, is just as fun as this podcast was for several people.
It'll be cool.
I think that you should go off and look into Little Chef a little bit more, and actually
Olympic breakfast.
Yeah. The irony being that I've just remembered why Vodka Revs came back to me. It's all just been shut down. Like, so we've lost Little Chef and Vodka Revs. We've lost our Olympic experiences.
They had to come up with special plates for the Olympic breakfast because it was so big.
God, that is like, I love this so much.
Great, isn't it?
I want like a shitty Little Chef fact every podcast now. You know, that'd really make it. That'd really make the Olympic breakfast. On that note, thank you very much for listening, guys.
Cheers.
See you later.